So here, this is a rear wheel bearing from a 2005 G35 sedan, and I've always wondered why there aren't really any good explanations on how to use the this bearing splitter device here, and there's really no good explanations on how to use that with this type of application here. A lot of people might want to change their wheel bearings at home, and they won't be able to. So I'm going to go ahead and show you boxes from these things. So I picked these up at Harbor Freight. I got a jaw puller set. It's this thing here. And then picked up this large bearing separator. This is the largest one they had. And basically the way this works is this adjusts, and what it does is it comes here. So this bearing, this is the bearing, this is the hub. And usually what happens is a lot of times people try to pull this off some weird way, and it ends up, see this inner, the outer race right here, there's a race over here. You can see it kind of sticks out a little bit because I already removed this, but a lot of times people will try to remove this and that race gets stuck on there. And I'm guessing that's what happened here last time, because if you look at this hub, there's a lot of damage right over here. Like somebody was trying to pound at it or do something to try to get that race off. Maybe the previous person who worked on this didn't know what they were doing, but when you do that and you mushroom it like that, it causes the hub to rotate, and kind of as it rotates, it kind of wobbles like this a little bit, and that introduces run out into the rotor. And so people put new rotors on, they keep putting rotors on, and they keep warping, so they say, but really they're wearing unevenly because of this rotation. Even no matter how minor it might be, even a thousandth of an inch can be a difference between rotors that wear well and rotors that don't. So anyways, so what we're going to do is we're going to install the splitter in between this hub and the bearing underneath the this outer piece here. And that's what I've done here, is I've set it up like that. And I don't want it tight or anything, because then it'll score this inside piece here. I don't really care about that. I just want it to kind of lightly move around, but make sure that it's actually cupped this piece right here, the innermost part of the bearing.
Go back and show it again.
What's that? Yeah.
Show the.
It's basically holding it like that, this inner piece, so that if I lift the bearing out, the inner piece doesn't end up staying there. It comes off with the bearing. So that's how I have this set up. And next, Harbor Freight. I actually, these aren't from Harbor Freight, but these are actually pretty high quality ones. But Harbor Freight has something like this. This is a bearing seal installer. It comes in there's a bunch of these discs, and they're different sizes. So what you would do is you would match this up. Normally for installing bearings, you use the inner piece, but because this shaft here, this flange, it actually has these kind of like these teeth in here. You don't want to do that because it'll damage the teeth and you won't be able to get the axle in. So you want to use the wide piece. So it goes like that, right over the center. And then you take the double-jawed pulley, and see that goes right over there, and you clamp it down like that, right over here, and then you just tighten this down. And you want to make sure everything is as square and center as possible. It's general rule with these things. I mean, probably want it as close as it's going to get. It doesn't have to be perfect. So you obviously don't want it hitting any edges or anything, but I'm trying to get this thing centered. I guess that's as good as I'm going to be able to get it right there. Okay, so now it's pretty centered on there. Alright, so now this is ready to push down on the flange while holding the bearing, pulling the bearing out. So I'm going to go ahead and get that. This takes an 18mm socket. Have you seen that socket, Jeff? I thought it was over there.
Right over here, next to the box. Talk about the deep well.
Yeah, so, and of course, you want to try to use safety goggles or whatever, safety equipment when you're doing this, because something could explode and kill you. So, what would it go on? There it goes. So now I'm going to go ahead and start doing this. And you always want to keep an eye on it, make sure everything's going in straight. to come off. There it goes. There you have it. So now we have pressed the hub without damaging it from the bearing. And a lot of people are going to want to do this so they can press a new bearing on. We'll have to find out how good this Harbor Freight puller is and how long the threads on here are going to last, because I have a feeling it's not going to be very long until I can't use this anymore. But it's got lifetime warranty, right? So, anyways, so here's the old bearing, and again, nothing really wrong with this bearing, except the fact that whoever installed it last time, they definitely gave it a pretty good pounding. I forget. I think it was on the inside of the hub, right? There's a bunch of damage. I'm not really sure how they did that, but the bearing's probably fine. But again, we got to change the hub. I'm not going to put an old bearing on a new hub. So, anyways, that's how you remove these, and I'm going to go ahead and install the new hub on here. You can pause it. Yeah, see, this one's got damage right over here. Can you see that? It's very minor, but even something like that, like any of these raised areas right here where there's been pounding, any of these uneven surfaces, this is going to cause a problem. So you want that face to be nice and smooth. So you can turn it off.